So how did you approach your character for the commercial?
I try to match my character, well not exactly match my character, but try to do same characteristics as the Joker, make the exact same laugh, and just try to be more hyper, more crazy than what the Joker is.
Okay, and by Joker I'm assuming you mean Batman?
Batman Joker, yes.
Okay. So as an actor, you had to perform teaser skits at the farmer's market. What was it like interacting with a live audience?
It was fun. Yeah, I had a great time. It was very, very different. I'm more used to having that fourth wall in the theater, the stage. But with the live scenery there, it's just way different, way funner, more interaction towards the audience.
Okay, and how do you think that the teaser performances you guys made and the actual haunted house differ? What are the differences there?
There would be more improvisation, more knowledge towards the audience to know how to scare them and know how to pop that scare bubble they have, and just have fun with it, I guess. Have more fun than every other performance we had before.
Okay. So what role did you play in the Asylum project?
I do two things. One, I am the set designer for the project. I'm also the warden for the 31st.
Okay, and you said you're the set designer. What was the most difficult set that you had to design?
Well, in this haunted house, the hardest room was the morgue, because most of the rooms are pretty simple. There's not too much in them, but the morgue has to be full of vials and all sorts of dressings the other rooms don't have. Making the doors wasn't too much skill involved, just mostly just a lot of effort. But yeah, the morgue definitely.
Okay, and how do you think this project's going to help you in your future as a student?
Well, any and all acting helps me develop as an actor. I'm trying to be an actor. That's what my major is in theater arts. And also getting credits as a set designer will help me get involved with more things. And it'll help me, I guess, succeed in creative projects that the department assigned to me.
Okay, and you say you played the warden. What was your approach to that character? How did you prepare for it?
Well, I always thought of the warden as, I thought back to like Sucker Punch, all those terrible movies that have good bad guys in these hospitals. They're usually the big butch guy who only listens to who he has to. Anyone else he doesn't. He's in charge. And unless he knows that he is subservient to someone, he won't take any shit. And so I tried to accent my height and my weight and just try to power through everything, because that's how he would handle problems.
How did you first hear about the Asylum?
I first heard about it through actually my acting class. A friend of the main director guy, he had some friends that came in and just explained to everybody what's going on and how we can get involved, and it was very interesting, and I definitely wanted to get involved and face my fear of an asylum, actually.
So you have a phobia of asylums?
I do, a major phobia. I'm terrified of it, and it's going along, but it's a challenge, and it's a lot of fun.
That's great. So what character do you play, and what do you like about her?
I play the front receptionist, so the very first person you will see as you're coming into the asylum, and I really like it because, one, I'm the only receptionist, and it's just like I get to give the vibe. It feels like the very first vibe that the audience will get coming into the house.
So how did you guys come up with the concept for the story?
Well, initially, when Philip approached USO, which is the English Undergraduate Student Organization at NMSU, he explained that he was planning a haunted house, and the theme was Asylum. And it wasn't just any haunted house, it was themed. So, similar to the way that Disney immerses their guests in an environment when they go on a ride, Philip was going to accomplish the same here, and he approached us to help do that, and that's how we got such a cohesive storyline.
Okay. I understand that you wrote a master script for this entire project. What was your favorite character to write about?
It was a bit of a strange process because we actually had about 15 people that got together for the original meeting to talk about what we wanted the house to be and what rooms were going to be and what characters were going to be in those rooms. And so we had to kind of mesh all of those together, like Maddie said, into a cohesive storyline for the house. But the warden was actually my favorite, just because he's really the closest character to becoming one of the patients themselves. He has a history in which one of his parents was actually killed by an escaped inmate from an asylum when he was a child, and it was a bit of an accident that he ended up becoming a warden at the asylum. And so he was my favorite just because he really bridges the gap between the staff members and the patients.
Okay. And how do you think that these background stories are going to help the actors in the performance, having all those backgrounds and knowing kind of the storyline that they have to go with?
Well, I think really what's going to help them is that this isn't the same kind of process as a play would be, where you have a script that's set and the actors have to follow the stage directions and the lines exactly as they're written. They really get to become the characters for the entire night that the asylum's going on. So as we have guests coming through on Halloween, they get to change lines and change motions and things that they do to what they think is going to fit the character. So they're not just going to be the character for a split second that they're on a stage. They're going to become that character for however many hours that we have people coming through.
Okay. And since you guys are part of a student organization, how do you think that the Asylum is helping students within NMSU and even within the high school?
This was really a unique opportunity, I believe. Again, Philip approached us about this project, and he actually had coordinated it with the Student Activities Office, I believe, so that it counted as off-campus community service for our organization. At the same time, as we were talking to him, we were talking with other groups. So as we started talking, Philip was like, oh yeah, I'm already talking with these people across campus, and we're talking with this organization. So by working with Philip, we've kind of seen an outlet and seen a connection to other departments for our own organization in the English department.
From an objective perspective, since you've been filming basically this entire process, what do you think are the strengths for this project?
I think the strengths overall is just being able to collaborate with so many other people from so many different backgrounds, and just to have so many committed people for the project. I think that's overall.
Okay. And what was your favorite part of like the filming process? I know you did a commercial, you did the skits that you did live in the market. What was your favorite part of filming?
Probably my favorite part was the commercial, just because I kind of had more freedom to do that and actually work with actors and do some of the special effects makeup and special effects like that. And that's kind of more what I do more than anything. So that's probably what I enjoyed the most. And it was fun working with the actors and all the sets that we have here that were made and everything pretty much.
Okay. And Mikey, you basically directed most of the actors' meetings and tried coordinating everyone to come together when it was time. What was that like for you?
I'm not gonna lie, it was difficult. I've never been a casting director or doing an acting chair, be in charge of the actors, but the people that we casted are just really talented. From the very beginning, we had auditions. I got goosebumps from every performance, and I just thought the people that we picked are excellent, and there are a lot of talented people that are in this that are able to take charge for themselves, when I'm not around, or for them to just understand. I tell them one small thing, I need this, and automatically they just whip it out, and they understand completely, and they add on, and they have great ideas that I can also take from them as well, which just works out perfect. So sometimes I don't feel like I'm directing them, I'm just, team working with them. So they give me just as much as I want to give to them, so it just works out perfect. So we got a great group cast.
Okay, and you're both working on special effects and on makeup, right, for all the actors. What is it like working together, and what kinds of things are you doing for the Asylum in terms of that?
It's funny because I didn't know he did makeup, and then it's really cool because we both it's really cool to actually see someone that has the same ideas and the same perspectives when we're working on makeup. It just comes out perfect every time that we decide we want to do this for someone specific. Like for the commercial, want to do a brand for the branding, and he was able to do that. And we wanted a scar, and then I was able to do that. We just combined together. So for each character that we have in this thing, we're gonna have a specific type of thing, and it's easy because we can connect and we know exactly we're on the same page the whole entire time. It's just pretty cool.
Yeah, and that makes it really easy, especially working with somebody that knows something about makeup, because times before you'll be like, oh, I need this. Somebody will do it and it's not as good as you'd like it, so you got to redo it. And working together, it's really made our time efficient, so we can actually get our actors into makeup and get all our designs together and get them ready and not waste as much time. So that's really helped us and helped overall and everything. And it's been a lot of fun. I think that's probably one of the more fun things that we've.
What motivated you to start the haunted house 2 years ago?
Well, to me, this idea of Halloween, what's so fun about it is that it's the idea, right? Trick or treat. That's what everyone goes around and says the entire night, trick or treat. And so I wanted to kind of add to that, the trick and treat idea by providing something for the neighborhood, children to do, that was kind of a trick and a treat at the same time, where you were just walking along your street, and then you walk up and there's this just amazing free haunted house. You just go into an experience, and it was something completely out of the blue, really the essence of a trick you didn't expect, and that was fun, that you could go through, and it was quick and easy, and that you would be talking about later that night, where, oh, that house up there, that haunted house was so awesome. So that's kind of how the idea started with there. Well, the most obvious way in which to tell it evolved was going from just the pure size of it. So we started out with just, back 4 years ago, which I didn't count as a haunted house, but it would just be a scene in the yard. And then the next year, we actually had people go through the patio, and so I remember that we were renovating the bathroom, and so we had spare toilets and spare tubs, and so we stuck them out there, and I had people in the tub that would pop out of the water, and we had hands that were coming out of toilet seats, and that people would walk through shower curtains and thing in the yard. And then we decided, well, we're just going to take this a step further and start expanding into the house itself. So then the next year we started pulling people into the house itself, and we started with just this one room where people would just go around the pillar and see little scenes that we had set up. And then last year it expanded to, well, we already are using the part of the house, so let's just use the backyard too, why not? And I had, thankfully, all of these years, I've had amazing friends and roommates that are willing to put up with their house being transformed into a haunted house, and are willing to not only put up with it, but participate in it. Especially these last few years where it's just been a few of us, and so we started hanging plastic in June, July, and the entire house is covered for the entire year. So.
And on that note, what was it like dealing with these renovations throughout the house? Adding all of the special effects and the scenes that you have to do for each room for the past month.
Well, you kind of get used to it. After doing it for these couple of years, I remember last year it was even worse. We had this whole living room covered up since July. And I remember that at the time, my roommates, who were some of my best friends that actually moved away recently, but last year they actually loved it, because they were the type of people that would just stay up until 5 or 6 and then go to sleep, and they wouldn't wake up till 3. So their viewpoint was, well, it's darker, that means I can sleep longer, I love this. And I was like, okay. And so you kind of come to expect that your life is just going to be crazy around October, so whatever. I start packing stuff up. I start packing furniture up in July because, I know that October's coming, might as well just put everything away. So you learn to live with it, and it's kind of fun because it really gives me an in-depth understanding of the schematic of the house, and I get to go by it every time. So if there's something that I see it's not going to work, like some plastic that looks to be might fall down or that's starting to fall down, I know it's like I see things every day, and so we know what changes need to be made the entire time because you're living in the set. So it's definitely an advantage.
And talking about overseeing everything, what was it like coordinating the different aspects that go into the haunted house, everybody that has to participate, including the high school kids, the college students? I mean, what was that like?
A learning experience, definitely. We actually used a lot of high school students last year because I worked with high school last year with helping out with the tech crew for some of for one of their plays. And so it was the same kids last year. So I kind of knew how to deal with that a little bit. But this year, I definitely decided early on that we needed to have a leadership team, and that I had to find dynamic leaders to kind of take over each of these areas. Because me coming from, I did a little bit of film background, I did a little bit with theater, and I did a little bit with English, I did a little bit with everything, but I by no means am a master of my craft in any of those areas. And so I decided that to make this house truly, kind of break the established paradigms for what haunted houses are, and to just really take a shape that if it was something that I could conceive of, then it wouldn't be truly amazing. That's why I decided, well, I need someone that's just going to oversee the entire set, because they'll know how to do things that I can't conceive of, because I'm not a professional set builder. With the commercial and with film, with what Tim did, there are some of those makeup effects that I could not conceive of, and that's why, that's why the essence of getting the team, so that I could bring in these outside viewpoints, people that are really good at what they do, and also they could help me organize all the people, because like you said, the groups, having the high school teacher on board for helping organize certainly helps keep all those kids motivated, and having the USO president lend her support in helps keep the USO team organized. I mean, so all these people, I couldn't do it without everyone else helping me to organize all those individuals.